Hello, boys and girls. This is your old friend RJ City, and this is the Hollywood Squared Circle, where we talk about wrestling episodes of non-wrestling shows. And today we are talking about Boy Meets World Season 2, Episode 21, entitled The Thrilla in Philla. For those of you who don't know, Boy Meets World was an ABC sitcom that aired from 1993 to the year 2000, lasting 158 episodes over 7 seasons. It followed the coming-of-age lessons of one Corey Matthews, played by Ben Savage, his friend Sean Hunter, played by Ryder Strong, Ben's brother Eric, played by Will Friedle, his parents, played by William Russ and Betsy Randall, his love interest Topanga, played by Danielle Fishel, and his mentor, neighbor, and teacher, Mr. Feeney, played by William Daniels, who was also in the 1978 Carl Reiner-directed wrestling comedy, The One and Only. Along with Anthony Tyler Quinn as Mr. Turner, Blake Soper as Joey the Rat, Ethan Suplee as Frankie Stechino, and a cast member we do not mention enough, Adam Scott as Griff Hawkins. This wrestling episode is very light on the wrestling, as it only guest stars one actual wrestler. But that wrestler is Leon White, better known as Vader, playing Frankie Stechino's father. This being 1995, Vader was not actually in the WWF at the time. He was in the middle of wrapping up his WCW run and touring Japan. He would go on to be a recurring character on Boy Meets World, appearing in 2 more episodes. But embracing the kitsch celebrity value of pro wrestling is 2 other celebrity guest stars. Robert Goulet, who of course sang "Oh Canada" at WrestleMania 6, and Yasmeen Bleeth from Baywatch, Basketball, and Nash Bridges, which also guest starred my dear friend Stephen Austin. Vader, Robert Goulet, and Yasmeen Bleeth. That's the conversation I want to hear during lunch. Anyway, on to the episode. Topanga comes up to Corey and Sean and asks them what they've accomplished this year, so she wants to write it down for the yearbook. And Corey and Sean are like, holy fuck, we've done nothing this whole year. Sean is like, whatever. But Corey's like, no, I've got to do something good. Then they run into these bully jocks, and one is named Savage, which is hilarious because he's actually talking to Ben Savage. They lift Corey up and determine he's the perfect weight to fill the one vacant spot on the wrestling team. So he's in. It's really that simple. So they give him a Letterman jacket and a girl named Candy who will always be by his side. I do not know what kind of ring these jocks are running, but it is incredibly suspicious. Meanwhile, Feeney is trying to teach a history class when a masseuse shows up with a massage table to give a massage to Griff, who's like, oh yeah, I booked a massage, this is the only time I had available. And Feeney's like, what the fuck? And then Griff's lackeys, Frankie and Joey, give him a crate of fresh lobsters, which Griff had flown in from out of state. And then Feeney's like, okay, no massage, no lobster, Griff, you're in detention. And then Feeney asks Frankie and Joey why they like doing stuff for Griff. And Frankie's like, you know what? I don't mind doing stuff for other people. And then Joey's like, wait, you're right. I should have a life of my own. Then Mr. Turner sees Corey roughhousing with the jocks, and he thinks Corey's getting his ass kicked. So he steps in to save him, but Corey's like, no, it's cool. I'm on the wrestling team now. And then Mr. Turner's like, yeah, okay, but you're gonna get your ass kicked. And Corey's like, no. I'm the only one in my weight class, so I'll never actually have to have a match. It's the perfect plan. But actually, that's not true anymore because Joey, who is looking for a life of his own, has just signed up for the same spot on the wrestling team. So now it's Corey versus Joey for a spot on the team. And then Sean's like, hey, Corey, I got an idea. When Joey goes for something, just move out of the way, which is a tactic I've used in my matches numerous times. So then the match starts and Joey does go for something and Corey just moves. He steps out of the way and then he flips Joey easily and beats him. So now Corey has his spot on the wrestling team. But then Joey's like, actually, that's bullshit. I want an unsanctioned rematch. It turns out Griff took the janitor's keys and he's like, you know what? We're going to have the rematch in the school tonight. Word has obviously gotten out about this rematch because when Corey and Sean show up at night, the whole school is there, which apparently consists of only 30 people. It turns out Griff also hired Robert Goulet and Yasmeen Bleeth and is charging $50 a ticket. He's a good promoter. Oh, and Corey's brother Eric just bought a ticket too because he wanted to see some idiot get pounded. And then Frankie's dad shows up, who is Vader, playing Vader, and he tells Corey if Corey beats Joey, he'll have to face Vader next. So he's threatening a child. So the rematch starts, and Corey takes down Joey again, but Joey's like, fuck this, I'm gonna tag out, so he tags in Frankie, and I had no idea that amateur matches had tag rules. So then Eric jumps in to help Corey, and now it's Eric versus Frankie. Eric flicks Frankie in the forehead, and Frankie does this tremendous sell, and then he tags in Vader. So I guess it's 3-on-2? Vader picks up Eric in a gorilla press when all of a sudden, Mr. Feeney gracefully leaps over the ropes and comes nose to nose with Vader. So now I guess it's 3-on-3. Feeney is like, Vader, put the kid down or I'll tell everyone that your real name is Leslie. Which is hilarious because Vader's real name is Leon, and like, isn't that reason enough? Oh, and in later episodes, Vader's name is changed from Leslie to Frankie Sr. without any explanation at all. At least have some Leslie consistency. So Vader puts Eric down and Corey is declared the winner. Corey's like, you know what? Fuck this. I think I'm done wrestling. Corey gives the jacket back and Candy says she goes where the jacket goes, so now she's back with Savage. Whatever. And then Corey and Topanga have a nice moment together where they clearly seem to have feelings for each other. I wonder what will happen over the next 8 years. Then, in the final scene, they're all in detention for presumably sneaking into the school at night. And Corey's all scared of going to detention with Griff, and Griff's like, don't worry about it, we'll have a nice time. And then Robert Goulet shows up and starts singing, and that's the episode. Great use of Goulet. There really is not too much wrestling in this. It's a lot of slapsticky stuff. The amateur wrestling is very good. Corey Matthews has shades of a young Kurt Angle. And even though there's not a lot of pro wrestling, don't get me wrong, there's that nice gorilla press, which Eric seems to go up clean for. I will say they manage to maintain the novelty and lunacy that is professional wrestling. Of course, Vader would return in 2 more episodes of Boy Meets World. One being New Friends and Old, where he just has a brief cameo in a suit. And the second, which we will talk about next time, is the other Boy Meets World wrestling episode entitled 16 Candles and 400-Pound Men. So that was Boy Meets World's The Thrilla in Philla. This has been the Hollywood Squared Circle, and I have completely wasted your time.
Guests of the RJ City Show, subscribe to his channel, follow him on social media, and buy his t-shirts at ProWrestlingTees.com/RJ City.